Rockets are in a 2-0 hole in Game 3 tomorrow in Houston. Both teams are dealing with injuries to their star players. James Harden practiced yesterday after suffering an eye laceration in Game 2. Steph Curry dislocated the middle finger on his left hand in Game 2, but he was able to practice yesterday and is expected to play tomorrow. We're joined once again by Chris Broussard. Chris, who wins Game 3?
I got the Rockets winning. I got the Rockets. I do think Golden State will go on to win the series, but I think the Rockets win. Three things. One of the reasons Golden State is up is the play of Andre Iguodala and Draymond Green. They have been great. Iguodala, a 33% three-point shooter, has never been a good three-point shooter, even when he won the MVP in the finals. Now he's shooting 43% from three in these first two games. Draymond, we know, has been great, shooting almost 70% from the field, 14 points a game. Iggy, 15 points a game. I don't think they're doing that in Houston. So I think those two come back to earth. And Klay and Steph really haven't been Klay and Steph, and I think that the Rockets have a good job of limiting those guys, you know, not letting them go off and have huge games. Then I think Clint Capella. We know he hasn't shown up. But part of that, I know a lot of it's on him. I say most of it's on him. But they also aren't getting him his looks. He averaged 11 shots a game in the regular season. We know 16.5 points. 9 shots total in the first two games. So get him the ball. We know you're not going to throw it to him on the block. We know that. But they got to get him the ball more in some scoring positions so he can be effective. And then thirdly, I think their focus will be better. I really think that they psyched themselves out going into Game 2, talking so much about the officials. It's coming down from on high. Daryl Morey, you know, Mike D'Antoni. I think the players, they had 9 of their turnovers in the first quarter of Game 2. They were just giving it up on every possession early on. I think it was because they weren't focused on the game. They were focused on the officiating. And I think now, with all that kind of died down, they'll be more focused on the task at hand. So I think Houston does win tonight. I
agree with you. I took the Rockets in Game 3. I think a lot of that, the reason why Steph and Klay haven't really found their rhythm is that when Kevin Durant gets it going, you feed the hot hand. Well, when you feed the hot hand, it's hard for someone else to get a rhythm. That's the fine line that the really great players, they have to walk. Do I take completely over and just go get mine all of a sudden and then they don't have a rhythm? Or do I do enough and also keep them ingratiated into the offense also? I agree with everything you just said. Even though Clint Capella, they're not getting him his shots, a lot of his shots comes on offensive rebound, put-back dunks. So he needs to start hitting the backboards like the Warriors have been hitting the backboards, you know, 18 offensive rebounds. That's a lot. You're not beating that team. And Game 2, Skip, they go make 10 threes in the first half. They're down 9 points because they turned the ball over 13 times. In a game that you hit that many threes in the first half, you're normally up. Unless you turn the ball over, unless you give up offensive rebounds like they gave them up. You can't win like that. They'll be better at home. That crowd will be energized. James Harden dropped that 40 spot on them, and we're going to be down 2-1 talking smack, and we be ready to go Game 4, tie this thing up.
Now that you've said that, it's not going to happen.
I still got the Warriors too, Chris. I just want you to know.
I was about to say, you sounded like you...
No. Just this Game 3.
I still got the Rockets. I picked the Rockets to win this series, but I believed with all my heart and soul they were in perfect position to win Game 1. Not steal Game 1, to go win Game 1 at Oracle. It's why Daryl Morey sent them out there early, 48 hours to get acclimated to practice at Oracle. Again, Golden State coming off a tough Friday night at Staples to try to close out the Clippers. Quick turnaround to an afternoon Game 1, at Oracle, where they have been hit and miss all year. Steph and Klay allegedly had ankle issues. They combined to make 5 threes in Game 1. It's right there for the taking, and they flat out got robbed. And you are correct, or I'm with you on this. They stepped on the floor mentally defeated in Game 2. They just didn't look right to me. I know they shot the ball pretty well, but they didn't handle the ball well. They didn't ever seem to play with any conviction that they could win that game. And again, Golden State led Game 2 from wire to wire. So now we get to Game 3. And I am rooting for Houston, but if you made me bet on it, I would bet on Golden State because I'm not going to bet against that 7-foot monster who plays for Golden State named Kevin Durant, who once upon a time played with James Harden. And the biggest question for this game is, James, who are you? What you got? Because now this is it. This is do or die, basically. I know you could come back, but they're not going to come back. They're not coming back.
You're not beating Golden State 4 times.
Not with Kevin Durant on the team. Not going to happen. So you have to win this game. And again, Houston beat them 3 out of 4 times, but the 4th time was at Houston with no Kevin Durant. And what happened to James in that game? Well, you should rise and shine. You should take it over if you're that guy. And he shot 2 for 12 from 3. And as a team, they made 27% of their threes, 11 of 41. Not good enough. If you do that tonight, you're going to lose.
Yes.
And I have never seen Kevin Durant play at a higher level. And where he's been at his all-time greatest is in Game 3s. Sure. What did we see? 2017 Game 3 finals, 2018 Game 3 finals. What do you do in those two? Well, he simply went from 31 to 43 in those 2 games in LeBron's house. What do we see against the Clippers on the road? Game 3 and 4, he went 38, 33. Then Game 6, the closeout game, 50. He's just, he is a team wrecker on the road. He just goes in and wrecks your building. He shuts down your crowd. He takes your crowd out of it. And I'm fearing, for Houston's sake, you're about to see that happen again.
If I'm Houston, I don't know why Houston went out there early for Game 1. You psyching yourself up. You building about, we got to do something different. Is that what you normally do? Treat them the same. Do what you normally do.
As you well know, this is everything to Daryl Morey. His whole career has been built on this series.
He's built this roster. This
is it.
This is his resume. This is what he wants on his epitaph scale.
So right now,
I took down the Warriors.
If he's watching like this, right? He's just thinking, because he knows what's about to happen.
Oh, yeah. And look, and this is what's going to happen to Daryl Morey. These Houston Rockets, very good team. Very well may be the 2nd best team in the league for all we know.
Yeah.
They're going to go down like the Steve Nash Phoenix Suns and the Chris Webber Sacramento Kings.
Okay.
That's what they're going to be. They're going to be this.
Analogy.
We're going to look back 5, 10 years from now and say, yeah, they were good, but they just couldn't get over the hump. They never got there. And what's the common denominator? At least 2 of them, Mike D'Antoni's the coach. Now, I personally think D'Antoni, I may be in the minority, I think he's a Hall of Fame coach. I know he obviously hadn't won the championship, even got to the finals, but I think his impact on the game and in the couple places he's been great.
Right.
But he does not, his lack of attention to detail, I hope he makes adjustments, but I don't know. I kind of don't think he will. I think he's good. We do what we do, go out there and play.
What about doing something to stop what they do?
Right, and I don't think, and I think that's becomes a problem in the playoffs when game to game you have to make adjustments.
Whenever I hear Mike D'Antoni, when they play a snippet of his audio from the sideline huddle, it's just the biggest bunch of cliches. like I'm sure everybody's just tuned that completely. Come on, guys, we got to play hard now. Right. Come on, guys. Come on,
that's how he is in the post-game pressers too.
Come on, guys.
And James Harden numbers in the playoffs, all of them are down from the regular season.
Right.
Okay. Who are you, James? Who are you? What you got?
Well, and there's another guy too. I agree. James got to step up. Chris Paul's got to step up.
Is he capable? Is he a little bit on the downside of his career?
He's definitely a little on the downside, but this is probably his best chance. I mean, I guess you'll give him a shot next year, but, at some point he's going to start declining in a big way, and maybe it'll be next year. We know the injuries are always a factor, but at one point years ago, he was viewed as one of the most clutch guys in the league.
Yep.
Now, you tend to think he's too emotional. He gets into it with the refs. He's not going to deliver on those big moments. So I think both of their guards, Harden and Chris, they're under microscope
flying
tonight.
under the radar a little bit, though. I feel like we haven't talked about him too much.
Because he's become that second guy by far. It's been so much on Harden, but...
I'm going to refer one last time to our man Chris Haynes' quote, Yahoo, from Kevin Durant 2 days ago, where he said, this is where this is fun. This is when it's serious, and I'm just embracing it. This is the time of year when what I've been geared for. Well, we're seeing this guy play at...
Hey, Chris, you noticed it didn't become fun until 3 years ago. What do you got to go today? What fun?
I bet it's fun.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, you noticed that too, Chris. Yeah.
But
we do have to factor that in. When we talk about how, and Kevin Durant obviously is great, and
yes,
that dude's gonna be he's gonna be a top 10 player of all time, and maybe higher. We'll see. But you can't dismiss the fact that he got so much around him.
So
and
much.
That's a factor when you talk about definitively being the best player on the planet.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe?
No, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead. Oh, you want to ask me a
Who
question?
did Draymond call in the parking lot? You love this story.
Yes.
After they blew a 3-1 lead, in part because he got suspended. He called that monster.
Yes.
Please come save us. Am I right?
He was only got to look up. He was not going to be in
couldn't call LeBron.
Yeah, because that's who he would have called. That's who he would have called.
I don't know. This guy, every time they get in trouble, they go to this guy.
Let me ask you a question. If they have LeBron instead of Kevin Durant, they lose in the last 2 NBA Finals?
I don't know. That's a good question.
No, they win, but they play a lot differently. They play a lot. Can
you imagine the threes that Clay and Steph going to get off?
Wait, how can LeBron play for 2 teams at once?
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying. If you were to take LeBron and put him in Golden State,
it'd be unfair.
And put KD on Cleveland. Is Cleveland making the NBA Finals last year out of these?
Yep. You better believe they will.
Stop it.
It's
unstoppable. He'd average 40 a game.
With LeBron and Golden State.
40 a game.
It's different. You're saying that he is that much better then. I mean, Skip isn't going to like that. If you're saying it's unfair.
At this point right now, Durant's probably better just because LeBron's age. But LeBron in the past on Golden State, it'd be crazy.
Who's LeBron?
You know who he is.
He's that guy.
King James.
Watch it.
Strive for greatness.
Really?
Akron's finest.
He's got to quit using the king emoji.
No, why should he?
You know what? Durant ought to be using
No,
it.
he shouldn't.
Durant's going to get his chance.
Boom.
He's going to get his chance.
What if KD goes with the king emoji?
When he goes to New York, he'll get his chance.
Well, he better tell somebody to come up with a Durantula emoji.
He starts using
He better come up with a spider with his face on it or something. Because the king is, we know who the king is.
Do we?
Yes. James.
Emeritus.
I feel like he's trademarked
You know what? You know what, Skip.
Chris, thank you for joining us. Have a good weekend. Is Joel Embiid on his way to being the best big man ever? We'll discuss that next.